In a recent video, I told you guys about how I started my dream career and basically grew my channel from 0 subscribers to 25,000 subscribers in 1 year. In that video, I shared my secret to achieving any goal in 1 year, which really is just going all in on one thing that looks like work to others but feels like play to you. In that video, I talked about what to do once you find that one thing, part 2, go deep, but I didn't actually talk about how you find that one thing, your niche of one. So that's what we're doing today, which means it's time for me to fess up about something. You guys know that I work in marketing, but before I was a marketer, I was a linguist. It's crazy to think about now, but just a few years ago, I was on the path to being a practicing linguist for the rest of my life. I've always been interested in language, and I was really fascinated by how linguists study the nature, development, evolution, and implication of the natural phenomenon that is human language. So this is what I ended up majoring in undergrad. But in the spring semester of my sophomore year, I met with my academic advisor, and in that meeting, he told me that technically I would be entering my senior year of college the next year based on the credits I had. I was like, immediately, no, this cannot be possible. I had no idea what I wanted to do after school. I knew that I had taken a bunch of extra courses in the summer and came in with credits from high school, but that wasn't to rush through college. It was just because I liked taking classes. I had taken no internships. I had no work experience in any career I was interested in. I didn't even know what career I was interested in. I could not graduate early. That just was not an option. So I came up with this plan, and because it would allow me to stay in school for another 2 years, it was a logical next step, and essentially it was free. I decided to enroll in the master's program for linguistics at the school I went to, Boston University. And in an attempt to justify this decision and also keep pushing off the fact that I still had no idea what I wanted to do after I finished school, I convinced myself that linguistics was my life's passion. I wanted to pursue a master's, then I would pursue a PhD. I would write linguistics papers and eventually become a linguistics professor, and that's what I would do for the rest of my life. Don't get me wrong, I did and still do find linguistics interesting, but life passion was a reach. But telling myself that it was gave me a reason to be able to stay in the comfort of academia forever and never really have to figure out what I actually wanted to do and what my actual passions were. So I thought that this plan would go well, but as I went through my master's classes, I started to notice a difference between some of my classmates and me. While I skipped readings as often as I could, immediately got tired anytime I started my homework, even if I had just taken a nap, and always stuck to doing just enough to get by, I noticed how some of my classmates lit up at the introduction of new theories. Not only did the assigned readings, but did extra research in their own time, and enjoyed spending time talking about these topics outside of class. It's in witnessing their excitement that I realized they'd found something that I had not and would not for a few years. Work that felt like play. Work that energized them rather than making them feel depleted. And it was something that someone like me, who wasn't really passionate about this, could never compete with them on, because they would always outwork me, because to them they weren't even working. Though I've realized that the last thing I want to do is write peer-reviewed papers for the rest of my life, I'm really grateful for that experience because it gave me a first-person perspective into how and why so many people end up in unfulfilling paths in life. And maybe you can relate to this. Maybe like me, you took the logical next step and then the next, and today you're fully engrossed into a career you try to convince yourself you enjoy but you really have no interest in. From the comments on my most recent video, I know that some of you have your own channels where you feel like you've kind of been boxed into a niche that you never intended to be in the first place. Or maybe you witnessed what real passion looks like in a career or in someone's life pursuits, and you want that for yourself but you're not really sure how to find it. Well, it took me about 4 years of searching, but I really do have a strong sense of what my niche of one is on YouTube and in life. And while I'm sure that niche will continue to evolve as I do, I want to share with you guys the 4 steps along my journey that's got me to where I am now. First, I had to get to know myself. Are you guys Beehive? I'm Beehive. So I don't know, but if you've heard the song from Renaissance, Alien Superstar, Beyonce's like, I'm one of one, I'm number one, I'm the only one. And I love that anyone can sing that song and really feel and believe that those statements are true. Because when it comes to being you, you are one of one. Like, no one can compete with you on being you. And how you find your niche of one is being you. Like, that is a thing that is not replicable and that only you can be the best at. But you can only step into that space and get to know what that means on YouTube and your career and whatever you want to do in life if you are being authentically yourself and if you know who you are authentically. No one in this world has your unique experience, your perspective. No one can bring the value to spaces that you can bring. But I know for me, when I was in college and coming out of college, I had an idea of who I was, but it really was wrapped up in like who I thought I should be, what I thought I should want or strive for in life. And we get so many messages from society about how our lives should look, what goals we should want to pursue, what success means in someone else's eyes. And I think that it's our jobs to untangle like what are the things that are coming from outside of us and what's actually in us that we want no matter what anyone else says. Not what you think you should want from life, but what will actually make you happy. Not who society wants you to be, but who you actually are. And not just what you're good at, but what makes you light up. In order to untangle all that and really get to know myself, it meant that I had to take some detours. So while I was still in school, I was taking linguistics classes, but I always knew that I kind of liked writing. And so I took some random creative writing seminars. I started to invest more in things that would later become hobbies, like writing or posting on social media, and just really taking the time to explore anything that I had an interest in and paying attention to how doing that thing made me feel. Next, I had to get rid of a lot of limiting beliefs. Although when I was younger, I never had a clear idea of a career that I wanted, I always liked writing. But whether it was teachers in schools or how characters were portrayed in TV shows and movies, it seemed like the message I was getting was writers don't make a lot of money, you probably won't be successful, you should go do something like get a real job. And so at first I never even thought about pursuing writing in college. And although it might be true that sometimes in certain creative fields you struggle, if you completely block yourself off from even exploring that idea, you don't allow yourself to think of all the ways that you could get around the difficulties of that. Sure, some people who pursue careers in writing don't make a lot of money, but some do. And also there's so many careers that involve writing. And I think that I waited a long time to even consider it as an actual career path because of those limiting beliefs. And there were a bunch of other ones that I had, and I'm sure everyone has. And I think that if you have any chance of finding your niche of one, you have to become aware of those limiting beliefs so that you can start to challenge them. Because the truth is, it's probably just something someone else told you that you decided to believe, but it probably isn't true. I definitely waited a long time to start my YouTube channel and then a couple more years to start actually taking it seriously because I had the limiting belief that I probably won't succeed on YouTube. And a lot of people think this way. You probably want to start a YouTube channel or take your YouTube channel more seriously, but you don't believe that you'll succeed. And if you have that mindset, then you honestly never will. I'm not saying you have to believe that you definitely will succeed, but you at least have to believe that there's a possibility that you will. And this goes for even if your goal isn't being a YouTuber, whatever you want to do in life, you have to believe that there's a possibility that you can achieve it. Honestly, therapy is what helped me work through a lot of my limiting beliefs. I've mentioned this before and I will say it again. I highly recommend therapy to any and everyone. And if the cost of therapy is an issue for you, I got my first therapist through a platform called Open Path Collective. It's sliding scale therapy that ranges from, I don't know, plus or minus $50 per session. I think it's like $30 to $70 now or something like that. I'll leave a link in the description box below if you're interested in checking it out. I'm not an affiliate or anything. I'm pretty sure it's like a nonprofit, so I don't even know if they do that, but I'm gonna leave the link in the description box below. The first and second steps were more like introspective things that you need to do, but the third and fourth steps are more so like you actually going out and pursuing stuff. So in the third step of this journey, I failed fast and failed forward. I was ready to accept the fact that I wanted a career where I could write a lot, but I still wasn't sure exactly how that would look and what I would want to do, because there's tons of careers where you can do that. And I knew that I wanted to combine it with other things too. Like, I didn't just want to work by myself. I wanted to be able to collaborate with others. I wanted to be able to be creative. So I took time to explore a bunch of different careers. I ended up landing in marketing, but I started off pursuing publishing. The truth is that you don't really actually know what a path in life will entail until you're on that path yourself. But the best proxy for that is to talk to someone that's on that path. When I thought I was interested in publishing, I found someone who had worked in publishing, and I asked them about their experiences, particular things that I cared about, like work-life balance, were they able to write, how much agency they had in what they chose to read. And ultimately I found out, actually, I'm not interested in that. And every time I went through a process like that, like I did it for PR, I did it for consulting, a bunch of different paths. And through that journey, I was able to really narrow down what I was interested in pursuing. A great way to be able to gain insight from people who are on paths that you're thinking about going down is finding people on LinkedIn to reach out to. I have a video about this, I'll link it here. But that was really amazing for me. And the other place is YouTube. People talk about their experiences on YouTube, and you can just watch the videos and learn what they liked or didn't like about a path that they went down. And the fourth step in this journey was allowing rejection to guide me. This honestly is the hardest part of the journey, and I think it's important to talk about it, because when you're pursuing something, you're going to get a lot of no's. But no's are actually protection, and they're guiding you to what you're actually meant to do, because they're helping you gain direction and narrow down your scope. When I graduated college and I was going through this process of trying to figure out what I wanted to do, I received so many rejections. Like, thinking back on it, I applied to work at Target and never heard back. I applied to CVS and never heard back. I applied to a bunch of publishing jobs. I applied to different PR jobs. I applied to like talent agent jobs. I'm speaking from a place of the privilege of knowing how it ends up, but I would not want to change the outcome of any of those. First of all, I love Target, so if I got hired at Target, I probably would have never left. But every no pushed me further and further towards the path that was uniquely meant for me. I think the most stark example of this is the job that I have now. I actually got a no before I got a yes. I was interning at the company I'm at now, and I asked if I could stay on for a full-time like entry-level role. And at first they said no, like, we don't have the budget, we can't add another person to our team. And even though I felt like this was a place I was supposed to be, I accepted it, and I was like, you know, if it's not this place, then there's a reason. It means there's something else better out there for me and meant for me. So I went out, and while my internship was still wrapping up, I continued networking. I met so many amazing people in different career paths in life, and I started to explore what else I might want to do. And then 2 months later, the company that originally said no said yes and gave me an offer that literally blew my mind away. And looking back, I wouldn't change the fact that they said no before they said yes, because it gave me the time to explore what else I could do to meet other amazing people who will remain in my network for the rest of my career. And it showed me that I really wanted to be at this place, because I had interviewed at other places, I was exploring other options, and this was still the one that I wanted. So it made me sure in my decision. So if you're in a period of facing a lot of rejections, just know that those are also like really crucial, essential parts of your journey, and it just means that you're getting closer and closer to finding your yes. And what I would say is that your unique niche is not just about what you like to do, but it's about who you are and the accumulation of experiences that you have along the way of your journey, which means that your niche isn't a cookie cutter anything. It's not something that can just be described in one word, and it's not something that you need to rush to get to. In my career, one thing that made me stand out while I was applying to brand strategy roles was that I had a background in linguistics, and also that I was interested in writing and content creation. You don't just have to be one thing. It actually is your unique combination of interests, skill sets, experiences, and your story that comes from you pursuing all these things that leads to you finding your one niche. So even though I'm a marketer or I'm a YouTuber, I genuinely believe that there's no one else that has my exact skill set, my exact experience or perspective. And that is the value that I bring to any space, whether it's YouTube, whether it's a job, or anything else I want to pursue. And so don't rush yourself along this journey. Be open to your niche continuously evolving, and don't try to box yourself into something just because it's easy to say to other people. And once you find that one thing that you really want to pursue, go check out the other video where I talked about what to do once you find that one thing that you want to go all in on. So that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.